So I wanted to talk today about treating the sciatica, but not with conventional methods such as stretches or chiropractic care, which are methods that have been basically around for half a century at this point, but rather with something fresh. So how improper alignment of your hips, of your pelvis to one side can produce disc herniation, piriformis syndrome, both of which can contribute to sciatica pinching and pain. So today we will learn how to manipulate your pelvis to different directions to unpinch the nerve through the framework of L.AIC pattern. But in order for you to learn it, not through the conceptions, but rather through a real life example, real life scenario, I will show you my patient who just like you had a problem on the left side, the sciatica pain was down the leg.
The pain I had here,
Mhm.
tight on here, pain, the hip.
And what's going down the leg.
I was going down until the knee.
But now it's gone completely.
Now it's gone. No sciatic pain, no hip pain, no back pain. Gone. Thank you again, Alexander, for everything.
So you will learn his protocol of treatment. I will share with you the framework of treatment that we went through. On the top of that, I will share his MRI. You will learn the connections between sciatica and hip misalignment, pelvis asymmetry, hip tilt. And on the top of that, I will teach you a few basic PRI techniques that you can do at home to improve the situation already.
Yeah, my name is Mohammed Al Zahawi. I'm from Iraq, but I live in the United States.
Mohammed is a perfect example of someone who got stuck with improper alignment of the body and developed the sciatica pain. But in his case, it was very interesting. So he basically previously had the knee surgery. After the knee surgery, the train wreck happened. His entire body got twisted after the right knee surgery. He developed a left pelvic tilt. Then he went to the gym, started to do squatting, and this pain appeared. Now he tried many doctors and different specialists without much of the success because the root cause of the problem was not properly identified. He actually was offered to have a surgery, but now on his back. Just listen to what his doctor has suggested.
He said, let's do the injection and therapy if they didn't help, and I have to do surgery. But I didn't want to do surgery. I was scared from the surgery. So I was trying to find somebody to help me. But they didn't help me. So just they suggest injection first and therapy. It didn't help. So after that, I didn't go back to them anymore because I knew they're not going to help me. They're going to ask me to do the surgery. So that's why I give up with them. And I look up in the social media and I found you.
Whenever I'm reviewing someone's posture, I'm looking and seeking for telltale signs where his body lost the alignment, where there is a misalignment which creates this tension, pain, constricted ranges of motion, etc., etc. And right from the get-go, if you will pay close attention, you will see that the left SI joint dimple is a little bit raised up compared to the right side. And then there is also, if you pay close attention, you will see the skin fold on the left side of his trunk. This skin fold also indicates that something is going on the left side, and in a minute you will see the confirmation of my bias when we will review the MRI. Now, the walking itself is probably the most important one when it comes down to diagnostic criteria, because what we are trying to fix is a postural behavior in the end of the day. Now, as he walks, there are noticeable changes in his hip alignment. So pretty much the same thing happens what happened on the picture. The left SI joint dimple never truly moves down. It always remains a little bit higher than the right one. What you can see that his right foot remains straight every time he detaches the right foot off the floor. And when the right leg is traveling through the air, right foot remains straight. But when it comes down to the left leg, it always pointed outside. Whenever phase of gait, whenever phase of walk you will review, you will see the left foot is pointing outside all the time, which tells me left hip is AR in external rotation, and the left foot also as a byproduct in AR, external rotation. Now, another point of reference, you can also see that there is increased rotation of the lower body towards the right. So every time he steps on the left leg, the belly button and entire abdominal wall goes significantly towards the right from the middle line that we can draw from his sternum. When it comes down to the right stance, it just remains even and symmetrical. I have to admit this is not his problem. I never fixed him up until this day, his symmetry of rotation. And it's not necessary in his situation. Now I'll tell you in a moment why. Now let's review his MRI. You can see again, the same thing I just said a minute ago. The left hip is overlapping, overtopping the right one. And then right now I'm drawing the line for you. You can just see with your own eyes which hip is higher and which is lower. Basically, right now you are looking at this image from the facial perspective. So everything is on the left is his right and vice versa. So there is a significant overlapping, and also this misalignment of the pelvis creates the spinal curvature, which is a mild lower back scoliosis that he has there. It means that lumbar vertebrae are being basically pushed towards the right side, away from that iliac crest, away from that iliac bone. So you may ask me, what's the catch? The catch is all of these bone positions are positions of someone who has stood normally on the left leg. So when a normal human being is shifting the weight on the left leg, that's how spine, pelvis, floor should be arranged together. Yet he is laying right now on the table in the supine position when the MRI was taken, basically. So that's how stubborn his brain is. His brain pushes his spine and pelvis into the improper alignment, which creates the problem that he has on the left side, which creates the pain at the end of the day. Now let's take a look on the herniation. This area, this is a disc. The red thing is the disc, and here there is a white little granulation that tells me that previously there was some form of the damage. The damage got frozen, and now this kind of scar tissue is pressing upwards into the exiting nerve root, into the foraminal window. Now, that happened only on the left side because his entire left side is being what? Crunched. So the vertebrae are pushed more on the left pelvis is moved upward like this all the time, therefore is constantly damaging the weakest point here. And that's why this little granulation is being pushed upwards into the nerve, which creates the sciatica in the first place. So the idea behind the protocol of the treatment is to habitually treat him to move that left pelvis downwards, thus to open up the space between left foraminal window. So this little white dot will stop gliding the nerve and create sciatica. After only 3 months of our online therapy, you can see the left pelvic bone moves up and down much more freely. You can see the downwards movement much better. However, we didn't fix his rotational issue simply because it was not necessary. We gently improved that, but it was enough, just enough to completely resolve his problem.
I don't have any pain, no problem. I'm sitting, I'm good. Standing, I'm good. So I'm not taking any pills for pain. Like I feel like I'm like before. Yeah, I feel
Oh,
great.
you feel great already.
Yeah, I could just sit for 20 minutes actually.
Because of
I could,
sciatica pain was traveling down the leg, yes?
yeah, sciatica pain and back pain too. Yeah, but right now, no problem. I sit, I stand, I sleep. I'm good. I feel good.
Before diving and explaining some of the exercises and treatment plan of Mohammed, it's very important that you must understand that in PRI there is no absolutes. It means that basically you may have the same pretty much problem that Mohammed has. So the left pelvis goes up and rotation happens towards the right, but the pain appears due to different reasons. Maybe piriformis syndrome, maybe Maybe the problem appears on the right side because overload happens not because of the hip hike, but because of the rotational aspect. And your spine is getting counter-rotate towards the left. That's counter-rotation creates all sorts of problems, and that's the thing that we have to change. Therefore, if you would like me to review your condition, click the link below under that video, email me, and describe me your situation. Let me think how can I help you. Potentially I can consult you, suggest something, or even conduct the same type of coaching treatment that I did with Mohammed. You can see right now his treatment plan. Again, in order to unpinch his sciatica nerve, we have to manipulate his pelvic floor, his pelvic bones in certain direction so that unpinching is happening. And we only can do that through these 4 steps. But firstly, we are not trying to fix L.AIC BC pattern. We're trying to fix direct misalignment. That's how PRI really works. Look here, the first point was to raise up his right pelvic floor up towards the ceiling. His brain has to sense through the exercising, through certain habits, that the right pelvic floor and just usual floor from underneath the right foot is going upwards. If the vestibular brain is sensing that elevation, and if the brain senses that all of the bones inside your body are arranging in certain ways, that gives the brain a signal that you are training part of the walking cycle that Mohammed lost. So it's not enough just to stand on either leg, as some of my patients suggested. Maybe could I stand all the day on the right leg? Doesn't really matter on which leg you're standing. At this point, you have to train positions and musculature activity, not just shifting the body weight. So the brain recognizes it as a part of walking cycle. That's the first step that we went through. Once we establish that sensation, we go into second part. We have to artificially move the left pelvis downwards. And today I will show you one particular technique to do that. So we have to make sure his brain feels that the left pelvic floor is moving down towards the floor, while the right pelvic floor is moving up. Because during the walking cycle, your pelvic floors on both sides are moving up and down, depending on which part of the walk, on which part of the walking cycle you are. So this is the second part. Once we establish the right pelvis elevation, the left pelvic floor has to move downwards. Yet it's still not enough, because you see, just because you have artificially dropped the left pelvis downwards doesn't give the brain the full understanding how to utilize that during the walk. So we have to attach to this newly established pelvis position specific musculature activity through the PRI exercises, specific to Mohammed. In his case, it was very much necessary to add up left medial hamstring, left glute max at the initial stages of the therapy, left gluteus medius upon the internal rotation. So internal rotation of the left femur and the left hip bone has to happen, because remember what happened previously? As we observed, his left leg was pointing outside. So in order to his pelvis to drop down, we firstly have to also initiate the internal rotation, because upon internal rotation, naturally, the left pelvis has to be depressed. So internal rotation plus left pelvis dropping downwards, these two things are interlinked together. Finally, we started to work on specific muscles on left and right sides, just developing basically from scratch the sensation of these muscles sometimes. Like sometimes patients are not feeling any muscles at all. They cannot sense and find their glute med or whatever, obliques. Finally, when we started to feel these muscles, we are integrating everything into the walk cycle and activities that are involving movement itself. So the brain very much familiar so that these movements are part of the walk cycle. In addition to that, I have added up left foot activity.
Pay attention that on the left side, this is your left foot, you really have to slam down that part of the foot into the floor, into the ground. But the outer part has to be a little bit raised up, okay? So the compression point is happening on the inner part of the foot because you are
Okay.
teaching your brain how to push off from that part of the foot onto the right side, how to decompress the left pelvis and so on and so forth. So it all starts from your feet. So you have to program the right perception, the right sensation of your feet.
I think it's enough to show you the theory. Now it's time to move on to practice. I have to tell you that Mohammed went through more than 25 plus exercises, lifestyle adjustments, and various other interventions to regulate his system and change his positions. However, today I'll show you two basic PRI techniques and exercises that you can safely try at home. If you experience the right-sided pain, you basically can flip or reverse the sides of the exercises. For this particular exercise, you have to find a small ball, a platform or a book, and counter on which you will rely with your elbows. So, stand with your right leg on the platform. It has to be really firm platform, cannot be soft or squishy. Put the ball in between your knees like so. So it's going to be fixated. Now rely onto your elbows. Here is the key point right now. Firstly, you are detaching the left foot off the floor. Now you're making sure that the left kneecap is lower than the right kneecap. Move the left leg slightly behind the right one. Hold this position. And now feel that your body weight is being distributed onto the right heel bone. Not the right arch, not big toe, onto the right heel bone. Now, with each inhalation, you have to move the left knee up. And with each exhalation, you have to move it slowly down and hold for 3 seconds. So, 2, 3. Up. Pay close attention. I spent more time with my left knee being lower than the right one. That's why I'm holding the 3 seconds pause. So I'm training the left pelvis to move downwards. Also pay close attention that my left knee is being all the time flexed and I'm feeling the left hamstring. So you have to feel the right pelvis floor being compressed with the body weight, but on the top of that, on the left side, you should feel the left hamstring because you have to squeeze the left knee hard enough to feel it. If you don't feel it, it means you did not squeeze the left knee hard enough. So squeeze it, hold it behind you, and just hold it across the exercise. Please pay attention that the left foot cannot go in that direction because otherwise you will train left femoral external rotation, which we're trying to avoid and actually do the opposite. So keep it neutral at this point, okay? Don't go in that direction. So this technique, this exercise is pretty much the modification of the technique that I already showed on my YouTube, but here you have few adjustments to make. Lay on the right side of your body, flex the right hip almost towards the 90-degree angle. The left leg should be almost fully extended. Put the left knee onto the ball, not towel, but onto the ball, squishy small ball. Now flex the left knee towards 90-degree angle and make sure that the lower back is relaxed and not arched. It's rounded basically. Start to press with your right knee into the floor, into the mattress or whatever you are, and feel a little bit the outer part of the right buttock. From this point on, roll this left knee into that direction, just 1 inch. Look here. Bam. Once I've done that, I'm holding this the entire exercise. So when I'm pulling my left knee down, I'm elongating my left waistline. Look again. Bam. I'm holding this position, right buttock is engaged, and all I do, I'm breathing and I'm moving the left leg out with exhalation. So at the end of the day, you will feel left inner hamstring and right outer buttock, and a little bit of the stretch on the left side of your body, if everything is being done properly.